A while back, I let AI build my FiveM server. However, if you remember the video, I only used ChatGPT to build the server. And apparently, there are some AIs out there that are much better. So that's why today, I'm going to be using Grok AI to build my next FiveM server. So here we are on the Grok AI app, and I've got a nice little question here going, which should give us everything we need to get going with building our FiveM server. Everything from the type of build, to the type of RP, to the type of mods, and the name. Hopefully, this should be better than ChatGPT based off all the comments you guys were giving me. But I'm not quite sure what this does, but it sort of makes sense. There's this little thing here that says think. I've given it a click and it says let the model take its time, and apparently it should give us a bit more detail. And I guess the sort of question that I'm asking it sort of relates to that. So I'm going to press enter. I'm going to see what the first steps it gives us is. Okay, so this is already a much better start than ChatGPT. If you guys watched the previous video, you'll know I kept asking follow-up questions in order for it to give me the right thing. And it has even given us a complete step-by-step guide with everything that we need to get going. We are going to need some follow-up questions, but what we've got right here should be able to get us going. So it's giving us the type of server build. I guess I kind of ruined it by saying type of RP, when necessarily it could have given us a drift, deathmatch, transport, or free roam server. So I've sort of messed up on that one, but we'll keep going with it. So it says it's going to go with an RP server. And now with the type of roleplay, it has told us that we're going to be going for a serious roleplay style. Apparently it's the most immersive, widely loved option, giving players a rich, realistic experience that can grow into a thriving community. Which is interesting. I sort of agree with it, but also so many people do that. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily got the biggest chance of growing into a thriving community, but we'll see. And now for the name. It said our server name should be catchy, memorable, and tied to its theme. Since we're building a serious RP server, the name should reflect GTA 5 world and hint everyday life and realism. Here's the pick. It's already given us a name, not even options to choose from. The name is going to be Los Santos Life. I'm sure that's probably already a FiveM server, not that I'm familiar with, but please don't sue me. And then it says Los Santos Life ties into the iconic Los Santos setting from GTA 5 and suggests a focus on living out detailed and realistic stories. And next it says about hosting the server. We've got a few hosting options apparently. We've got self-hosting, dedicated hosting, and game server hosting providers. Apparently, running it on your own PC is not ideal for many players due to the performance limits, which is true, but it is what I'd recommend doing if you're just beginning. And we've got dedicated hosting, which is renting a VPS or dedicated server from providers like OVH, DigitalOcean, or AWS, or HTNetwork, my company. Then we've got game server hosting providers, specialized services like SAP hosting. I'm not going to comment on that one, or Iceland hosting, which are really good. And then for serious RP servers that could attract a decent crowd, go with a dedicated hosting provider. Providers like OVH, it offers better performance and reliability as your community grows. Now on that one, it's a bit vague. It doesn't necessarily give us any steps to follow or to do. It hasn't actually told us anything. So that's a bit annoying. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going with a dedicated hosting provider. And that's going to be using my company, HTNetwork, with a Windows VPS. And the next steps is choosing a framework. Frameworks are the backbone of RP servers, providing the mechanics and systems you'll build on, which is true, very correct. And then the options are apparently ESX or QBcore. Now there is also another option, which is HTNFW, which is my own framework from HTNetwork, but I guess AI doesn't know about that one yet. I would say it's pretty much better than all of those. But apparently, since ESX is well established and has a huge library of resources, it's the best starting point for your server. You can always tweak and switch later as you get more comfortable. Now I sort of disagree with that one, to be honest with you, but we're going to do what AI says. Apparently, ESX is well established and a huge library of resources. I would say it's well established, but I wouldn't necessarily have got a huge library of resources, especially ones that are free. And for someone starting a FiveM server, you're not necessarily going to have the budget to buy mods. And also ESX is a lot harder to work on and also has a lot less of a good starting point than QBcore does. And it does also say that you can switch later as you get more comfortable. That's really wrong. You can't just switch a framework, but oh well. It does give us a very basic guide then on setting up a FiveM server, download the server files, create the server directory, edit the server.cfg, get a license, set up a database and all that, which is really straightforward and simple, but it doesn't really relate to TXadmin. It doesn't obviously look like it wants to use TXadmin, but it's a lot more difficult to set up a ESX server without it. And then it says to add resources, set permissions, etc. Then we got to customize the server, like custom scripts, map mods, economy systems, and rules, which makes the server stand out. Then we got to launch a server. We need to make sure it's tested, start a Discord server, promote it, and maintain it. So I guess we better get to work. So I guess we're starting from our step 4, and then we're going to be skipping to step 6 since it's already chosen the rest for us, so we don't really need to do anything. So step 4, we need to grab ourselves a dedicated hosting provider from HTNetwork and grab ourselves a VPS. Here we are on the HTNetwork website at HTNetwork.1, link down in the description below, and we're going to go on over to server hosting. We're going to grab ourselves probably the smallest GameFlex plan. We'll go for the smallest one for now, since it's the cheapest, and also it's going to mean that we have more budget for other things. So we'll get started with the GameFlex 1 plan right here. Okay, so here we go. The first step was to grab the latest server artifacts, so that is what we're doing. We're on the VPS from HTNetwork, the GameFlex 1 VPS, and we're going to download the artifacts from FiveM Forums. So we're simply going to click the top one right here to download the latest ones. As always, latest recommended is not the latest recommended, and we're going to open that server file on up, and I guess we'll set up the basic FiveM server. Okay, so we're halfway through setting up the basic FiveM server. Server name obviously is going to be what AI suggested to us, so it's going to be Los Santos Life. Then we're going to click next. We're going to go for the deployment type in popular recipes, and I guess we have to select ESX Legacy right here. And then for the data location, we'll keep that the same. And I guess we need to go to recipe deployer from here. And then the next step that AI did give us was actually grabbing our server license key. So I guess that's what we're going to do. We're going to go to the CFX portal, sign in, and grab ourselves a license key. Okay, license key acquired, and our XAMPP is started on up with MySQL and Apache, so we should have a database ready to connect. And then we're going to hit run recipe and get Los Santos Life up and running. Okay, and you can see in step 3 on actual step 6, so step 6, step 3, it told us to edit our server.cfg with our server name, license key, and loaded resources. So the loaded resources and license key is already done for us, so we do need to edit our server name. Heading on over to the server.cfg in txadmin before we launch a server, we'll edit our server name to make sure it does match Los Santos Life. We'll delete all the ESX legacy bits, all of that. We don't want that, that looks rubbish. So we'll get rid of these bits, and then we'll edit the product description. We'll just set it to Los Santos Life 2. I guess that makes sense. And there we go. Everything else is already done for us. We don't need to ensure anything because txadmin's done that for us. And we're just going to click save and run server. And there we go. That is Los Santos Life set up for us. But now we need to carry on with the rest of the steps. And I think we're going to need to ask AI or Grok AI another question, because what it's given us hasn't got enough detail to get us going. So what it says after setting up ESX is on step 7, in step 6, and step 8 is to add resources, including jobs, vehicles, maps to enrich gameplay. Jobs are already going to be included with the ESX, very simply. And then set permissions, define roles for admin and moderators. There's only one of us right now, and that's already done for us by txadmin in the server.cfg from default. And then it does sort of repeat itself by saying to customize the server by adding map mods, economy systems, rules, and custom scripts. Economy systems already there, that's ESX for you. Map mods, custom scripts, and rules and stuff like that isn't there. And then it says to grow the server, but I want a little bit more detail on what we're going to do with the resources, so I'm going to ask it for that. Okay, so that's what I did. I said to AI, I have set up a basic ESX server using txadmin like you said to do, and now I am on step 7. Please give me more detail on that. Now, Grok has gone ahead and done exactly what I've asked, and a lot better response than ChatGPT, must I say. It's given us an overview of step 7, which obviously we already knew, but now it's gone into some crazy detail. It's given us a step 1 within a step 7, and that is custom scripts. Custom scripts are bits of code which add new functionality to your server, like jobs, activities, player interactions. They're what make your server stand out. Very true. And now it's told us that we need to find these mods, and it's given us places to find them. It's told us that we need to look on the FiveM forums, GitHub, and look for ESX compatible scripts. Look for ones that match your serious RP theme. That's a solid understanding of FiveM scripting, and it's given us a good place to start. So I guess that's what we're going to do. And it has given us some install guides, which obviously we already know, but they are actually correct. So we'll just go ahead and do that. Let's look for some scripts for our ESX server. This will be difficult because a lot of the ESX scripts are definitely not free. Okay, so here we are. I've gone to the FiveM forums, I've filtered it by ESX, and we're on the latest one. And I'm sure you guys can already see every single one here is almost exactly paid, besides this one right here, Advanced Gunshot Residue System, it seems like, or GSR maybe. And that's not exactly what we need right now. It might be good for the server, but I don't think that's the most basic thing we need to install right now. So I'm going to have to scroll through here and try and find something which is free and isn't bad. Okay, so here we go. I've scrolled through the forums and I've opened a couple of tabs with some free scripts which look really cool. First one we've got is a notification system, which will be useful and it'll make our server look really nice. Right here, we've got BRR needs, which should make it more realistic to play. You guys can already see the needs right here. And then we've got simple car wash system. I didn't necessarily think that this would be really exciting and cool, but I thought it would add to it for sure. And then we've got the FiveM banking system. This one will definitely help. And then the next one we've got is the death screen. This one should help with making the server look more unique and cool. And then we've got the ESX economy reworked framework. I'm not entirely sure what this is. Apparently it used to be escrow, but now it is free and it's open source. So maybe it might not be the most stable thing. There also doesn't look like there's much documentation, but we'll give it a go. Okay, so I've gone ahead and installed the first one, which was BS notifications. I'm going to close that down. It's installed. For some reason, there was literally next to no documentation. If you went on the documentation page for it, it did sort of appear to be blank. Although now I'm looking, I've seemed to have found the documentation for notifications, even though it's under BS Business Tablet. I'm not quite sure what's going on right here, but it does sort of give us a little overview on how to add custom notifications, but it doesn't really say how to install it. Because I was guessing, it said it was standalone, so all I've done is dragged and dropped it into a new folder I've made in our server resources folder right here. I'm assuming because it's standalone, there's nothing else you need to edit. Documentation sort of sucked on that one. I wish it told you what to do, even if it is just drag and drop. It would be nice if it said that, just so you know you're doing it right. Okay, and then the next one is going to be this guy right here, BRR needs. So this is what we're going to install. Okay, so that one's installed. Again, there wasn't really much documentation on it. There was a README, and all it said was some events. I'm not sure if you need to add those events into the server side, or if that's just telling you events and how they work so you can plug it into other scripts. Not entirely sure. But I did install the database which it gave us, and I'm pretty sure that's it. In terms of the installation instructions, that is it. It doesn't give us anything else besides that in the README. So I guess the next thing is we move on to the next script. Okay, and the next one is this one, the vehicle wash system. Now, the little thing that's confusing about this is it says it is working with ESX, Cubicore, and Qbox. But then at the bottom in features, it says it only supports Cubicore inventory or OX inventory. And then it fully is integrated with OX target, which is interesting. So I don't really know what's going on there. I guess you could install OX inventory into your ESX server, but not that we have to do that. And it doesn't say that it requires it, and it does work with ESX. So strange how it wouldn't work with the basic ESX stuff, but we'll install it and see what happens. Okay, so that was installed. I guess, again, that was just drag and dropped. If you looked in the comments, it did say that he said it was standalone, but he needed to do more work on it, make it better, but we've installed it and we'll see what it's like. The next one, which is the one that I'm most excited about, is the FiveM banking system. This one looks really cool. It says it works with ESX Legacy, which is great. That's what we have. It's got a modern UI, ATM support, and complete financial management. And the UI does look really cool. So we're going to install it. It says it's easy setup apparently. You just import the SQL table, which we can do, configure your framework in the config.lua and start providing professional banking services to your players. So let's go ahead and download and install this one. Okay, so there we go. We've installed the banking system, and that was really straightforward and easy to install, and it even gives you a nice installation section on GitHub. You don't have to go anywhere else. So fair play to that mod creator. That was nice and easy to install. The next one we've got lined up is this one right here, the however you pronounce that, death screen, which is free, and apparently it works for ESX. I'm guessing this is probably standalone, but we do need to get it through his Tebex, which is always really annoying, but we'll download this and see what it's like. Okay, and the final script we've got to add is this one right here, ESX economy reworked, which does seem really cool. Open source, so maybe not the most stable. We'll see what it's like. So what we need to do to install this one is literally just load the SQL, add to the config, and we're done. So we'll download this, and it should be really straightforward. Okay, so I went through and installed a couple more just off screen for the scripts so we could get a few more, like some vehicle shops, some more banking systems, some jobs, etc. So now we're moving on to step 2. We've installed custom scripts, which was on step 3 or step 1 even, and then we're on step 2. So now we need to install some map mods. I'm not quite sure where it's going to tell us to install vehicles, but we'll see. So step 2, we need to install some map mods. We've got type of map mods, which is interiors, custom locations, and enhancements. And again, how to install them, which is correct. It does say to follow any extra instructions given by the mod creators. So we're going to go ahead and get some map mods. We're going to go to GTA5mods.com because the FiveM forums isn't the best place for map mods, to be honest with you. So we'll go here, we'll grab some map mods, and we'll put them in game. Okay, so there we go. I've just taken the time to install a bunch of map mods. We've got a custom border map mod. We've got a custom house map mod. We've got custom forests in the San Andreas area. We've got a GTA 5 remastered map mod, which should add some trees, some buildings, etc. around the entire map. We've got some beach condos. We've got a weed shop in the middle. I thought that was very GTA-esque. We've got a parking center area custom thing. I have no idea what this is. We've got a custom police station, burger shop, and some sort of park custom map mod. So I've installed a bunch of them, just like AI said to do, and that should apparently bring some life and customizability to the server. So there we go, I've gone ahead and done that. It's said to install some custom police HQs, which we did, player apartments or houses, which we did, and a unique business spot, which we did with the weed shops. So the next thing it says to do is step 3, which is the economy system. We've already got an economy system sort of thing with ESX, so we don't really need to mess around with that too much. ESX already has it. Not really quite sure why it repeats itself here if it knows ESX already has it, but I guess we'll move on from that one. The next one it does say to do is step 4, which is establishing the rules. Rules are apparently a backbone for serious RP servers. They keep everyone playing fair and immersed. We need to do essential rules, how to implement them. Apparently we should put them in a Discord server and in game with ESX rules. And apparently we then need some ideas, which is requiring proper grammar in RP chats, setting vehicle rules, and defining job rules too, like the police chain of command. And now that is it. That is the end of that step 7 thing that we asked AI to give us more detail on. But what I'm going to do now is, before we move on to the next steps, and I think maybe one of the final steps, is establishing the rules. And I'm going to get AI to do that for us, because I guess we may as well, right? Okay, so here we go. It's given us the rules. I said, on the 4th idea you gave me, establishing rules, make the rules for me. They said, here are the rules for your FiveM server designed to ensure a fair, immersive, and enjoyable experience for all players. So here we go. This is the rules. Obviously, I'm not going to read through them all. I'm not going to read them out to you. If you want to, you can read them right now on screen. But apparently, to me and to AI, this is a good RP rule little list. Gives us pretty much everything and all the basics that we need. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install a rule script like it said to do, and I'm going to put it in there. Okay, so here we go. I downloaded a rule script from Google. I literally just searched ESX rule script, and we've got one here called WASD rules. And apparently it auto pops up the rules depending on the location. I'm just going to keep it default. I'm pretty sure the location is the airport, so it sort of makes sense. And I put in the rules right here that AI gave us. Hopefully this works. I'm just going to hit file and save, and we'll move on to the next steps that AI has given us. Okay, so the next step was indeed the final step. If we go back up, before we asked it to go into more detail to step 7, we've got step 8, which is the last one. We need to, once ready, test everything to make sure it works smoothly, start a Discord server, promote it, and maintain it. So what we'll do now, I think before we launch in and test everything, because I want first initial impressions and that's it, we'll set up a Discord server like it's saying for the hub and for our community. We'll put in those rules, and that should be pretty much everything that we need for this RP server. And I think for the Discord server, I have an idea. Okay, so here we go. I set up the Discord server and I did it using a Discord template. I thought that'd be the quickest and easiest way to do it. I literally just Googled FiveM Server Discord RP server templates, and here we go. We've got a template, and I just need to edit the name. I've already put in the rules, but I realized upon making this server that AI never told us to make a server logo, and it never gave us one. So I guess we'll just skip that step. We're doing everything AI said to do, and it didn't give us a logo. So when we're going to move on from that one, we're going to change the server name to match the FiveM server, and then we're going to test it like AI said. Okay, so there we go. Server name changed. The next step is to restart the FiveM server after adding all these mods and see what it's like. Okay, so here we go. Restarting the FiveM server after adding all these mods for the first time. There's probably going to be a couple of errors from where we've installed things wrong, but I was literally just going based off what AI said to do. It said to install the scripts by adding them in the resources folder and then put them in the server.cfg and then follow any mod creator additional instructions. So I did exactly what it said to do, and if there weren't any instructions, I literally just went off what AI said to do. So there's probably going to be a couple of errors. Okay, so here we go. There are some errors. Doesn't really look like they're too bad. The main error is something to do with the loading screen that I added in, and the rest seems relatively okay. The rest is just some resource lure stuff where mod creators haven't edited them, and then just some oversized asset warnings with the map mods. Obviously, we don't have any vehicles, even though it said in the first step to include vehicles. When I asked for more detail in step 7, it completely skipped that step. So we don't have any vehicles. That's what AI gave us to do. So I guess the next steps now is joining this FiveM server, joining Los Santos Life. And here we go. It's popped up on the FiveM homepage, Los Santos Life. And we're going to join it for the first time. And here we go. We're loading into the server. And the first thing you can see, we've got no loading screen whatsoever. For some reason, that loading screen that we installed, maybe it's that error, but it's blank. So all we can see right now is just the FiveM loading, like preloading collisions, installing mods and things like that. But we joined the server relatively quickly, which is a good sign. Maybe our server is well optimized, But then there again, we don't have any custom vehicles, but we do have a fair amount of map mods. Okay, here we go. We're being asked to create our identity, and you can see our nice little custom HUD right here. And in the corner, it looks like we've got that resources script that we added in where it gives us like needs. So that's pretty interesting. I guess the first thing we got to do is create our character like it's telling us. Okay, so character created. I guess the first thing we got to do is click create and launch into the server and see what happens. To be honest with you, this start is actually relatively good. It looks really interesting. It looks really cool. The nice little custom resources here. It's a better start than I imagined. Okay, and now we've got to create our character. So we've got a nice little custom menu for creating our character and customizing it. A HUD script that we installed seems to actually include quite a fair bit of different things. Okay, here we go, and we've spawned in. And I can already see right in front of us that custom map mod that we installed. And if we turn to the left, we should see our custom Legion Square, which looks absolutely amazing. I'm actually relatively impressed. I think if I joined this server for the first time, I'd be thinking this is relatively cool. And that car park actually looks really, really sick. And we can see in the top right hand corner there, even though the installation instructions didn't tell us to uninstall the basic ESX HUD, we still got it. So they're overlapping, but we did what AI said, right? On the left, we've got another HUD, which I believe is from the basic human needs. And then at the bottom, there's also another one there, which I think maybe is meant to update. I can see that we've been paid already. We've got a $200 welfare check. One thing that we don't have is any custom postal map. So that sort of ruins the vibe. But I guess, to be fair, AI didn't say we needed to install one. We did install a custom chat script. So we should have some commands that we can do for like admin commands. And you can see there, we've got like volume. We got some RP chat commands, like just tweeting. And we should have some ID commands too, which is what the admin commands came with. And then we also should have our basic admin menu as well. Okay, so I've spawned ourselves in a car using the TX admin menu. And you can see we've got a little HUD here, and which is pretty nice. I'm pretty sure that might be with ESX from standard. I'm not entirely sure. Or it could be from that HUD script too. I'm heading over to the job center. I guess we'll get ourselves a job and we'll just drive around the city. Okay, so we have to select a job at the job center. I guess we'll just go with something basic. We'll go with a taxi guy right here. And yeah, apparently we got a new job. I'm not sure if the notification system is working. That sort of looks like the basic ESX one. I'm not entirely sure. I don't really play ESX too much. But you can see here in the bottom corner that need HUD is actually working. Our sleep bar is going up ever so slightly. So I guess we need to do a taxi job. So we'll just head over to here. To be honest with you, I don't think this server is too bad. Okay, so I went to the taxi job area and I got ourselves a taxi, and it just seems like we can drive around now doing some taxi jobs. I'm pretty sure that players can request you and you can charge players, and also there's some sort of AI pickup system. So in all fairness, I think AI did a really, really good job, and maybe AI is a good way to help you create your FiveM server for the first time. Let me know down in the comment section below if you guys want me to make this server public so you guys can join it and play it for yourself, because I'm happy to do that.